Robert Downey Jr. shocked fans in the entertainment world by revealing that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds allegedly tried to set him up.
How Blake Lively is displayed today in the media as a diva and someone who just tried to steal this movie and so on, all of that is true. That's Lively family. Robin was the star of the family, right? Back in the day. Now no one remembers Robin, but Blake always looked up to her and wanted to be famous as Robin and so on. I've noticed that they will do anything and everything to be famous.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Things have taken a rough turn for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds as more actors continue sharing stories about what the couple is allegedly like behind the scenes. According to critics, these claims aren't something new. They believe the warning signs have been there for years. To understand why, many point back to 2017. During an interview, Blake spoke about an incident on a movie set where she claimed a makeup artist behaved inappropriately while applying her makeup. Feeling upset, she reportedly went straight to the producers, expecting them to take serious action against him. But the producers' response caught everyone off guard. Instead of immediately siding with Blake or removing the makeup artist, they reportedly changed the subject completely. They told her that her dog had left a mess near the toilet in her dressing room, and that a janitor had been forced to clean it up. They also made it clear that it couldn't happen again. That unexpected reply has since become a major talking point. Rather than treating Blake's complaint as the biggest issue, the producers appeared more focused on her own responsibilities behind the scenes. Critics argue this showed they weren't fully convinced by the accusations she was making. For many people following the controversy, this moment marked the beginning of a pattern they believe is now being discussed more openly. Whether that's a fair conclusion or not, the 2017 story has resurfaced as fresh allegations and behind-the-scenes accounts continue drawing attention to Blake and Ryan.
What I learned is that you should never work with Blake Lively. Every errant word, suggestion, story, personal anecdote, or moment with the guard down will be used against you.
Many people now believe the old incident paints the makeup artist in a completely different light. Critics argue it suggests Blake had a history of making serious accusations long before the "it ends with us" controversy. They claim this pattern started years before her public dispute involving Justin Baldoni, saying she often presents herself as the victim whenever situations don't go the way she expected. Then there's Jenny Slate, whose role in this controversy has drawn plenty of attention. Publicly, Jenny strongly defended Blake, describing her as a loyal friend, a natural leader, and someone she could always rely on for emotional support. From the outside, their friendship appeared incredibly close. But according to leaked text messages, critics say the relationship looked far more complicated behind closed doors. The messages allegedly show Jenny constantly seeking Blake's approval and worrying about disappointing her. One conversation reportedly began after Jenny joked on set that her bed was too small for any real fun. Justin Baldoni, simply joining the lighthearted moment, laughed along like many co-workers might during casual banter. Later that evening, however, Jenny allegedly became anxious about the exchange. She reportedly texted Blake several times, apologizing repeatedly and saying she had learned an important lesson. She also expressed concern that her joke might have unintentionally encouraged inappropriate behavior, revealing just how uneasy she felt afterward.
Such a joke.
Literally, her name is Slate. You want to call her Blank Slate for a lot of reasons, because this is literally maybe the most unhinged kind of misinterpretation I've ever seen or heard. It's really, I don't know how they do it with a straight face.
Y'all can now imagine the kind of environment Blake had created on set that people were able to talk about these things so openly. I mean, if she was a good person, she would have told Jenny Slate not to worry about it, as everyone makes jokes like that and it was no big deal. But she used Jenny's guilt against Justin Baldoni. She even told her that they were not fragile and could take a joke, but then quickly said that Justin was weird and desperate for jumping in on the joke. She was taking a joke that Jenny Slate told while trying to frame Justin as some kind of bad boy just for laughing at it.
So now this to me is Blake Lively trying to get, nobody knows who the hell Jenny Slate is. But it would be very good for Jenny Slate to be in good with Blake and Ryan. So this is her reaching out to a lesser known, being like, remember you were there when he said the truly offensive thing to me? And by the way, it sounds like Blake Lively laughed it off.
According to critics, The leaked messages suggest Blake was guiding Ginny on exactly what she should say to the movie's producers in ways that would allegedly damage Justin Baldoni's reputation. They argue Ginny wasn't acting independently, but was instead being influenced throughout the situation. In their view, she became part of a larger effort that they believe was aimed at hurting Justin's career. The claims don't stop there. Critics also allege that Blake worked to strengthen her relationship with Brandon Sklenar by helping him land a leading role in a film directed by Paul Feig. They further claim she covered his travel expenses so he could attend a book event, arguing these gestures were intended to build goodwill and earn loyalty that could later be called upon when needed.
Blake had just worked with Brandon
Right.
on It Ends With Us, and she was still in the middle of shooting and all that stuff when we were doing Simple Favor. They were doing reshoots. And she was like, I'm working with this guy, and he's so amazing, Brandon. You got to meet Brandon. I was like, all right. Like, and then so finally we were casting this. I was like, all right, I'll have lunch with Brandon.
Critics further claim that once Blake believed she had earned Brandon Sklenar's trust, she allegedly tried to persuade him to support her version of events. According to leaked text messages, Blake asked Brandon about a conversation she claimed Justin Baldoni had quietly shared with him on set. She wrote that she had only overheard part of it and suggested Justin had supposedly said something that could get him canceled, because you can't say anything on this set anymore. Those following the case argue this was an attempt to influence Brandon's memory by presenting a conversation they believe never actually happened. Instead of confirming the story, Brandon reportedly responded cautiously, saying he couldn't even remember whether Justin had told him anything at all. Critics say that careful reply may have protected him from becoming more deeply involved in the dispute. They point to Justin's later sworn testimony, in which he denied ever making those remarks, and argue the exchange raises questions about whether Blake was attempting to gain support from her co-stars by encouraging a narrative they believe wasn't based on actual events.
If our Robert Downey Jr.'s claims are true, this could mean that Blake and Ryan are playing a much bigger game than people realize, one where they help orchestrate the downfall of other celebrities or control narratives that suit their own interests.
Robert Downey Jr. rejected an offer from Ryan Reynolds to make a cameo as Tony Stark in Deadpool and Wolverine. Robert shut down the writers who had written a scene for him just to tie into the Avengers timeline because he has some kind of sixth sense about knowing someone's behavior, and he saw right through Ryan Reynolds' act wanting to have no involvement in whatever chaos was happening on the movie set.
Robert Downey Jr. had alluded to it in interviews that he did not trust Ryan Reynolds. He saw the red flags and he was like, oh, hell no. I am not letting this guy do what this guy does.
The controversy has also drawn attention to Rob Liefeld, the comic book creator behind Deadpool. According to Rob, he gradually found himself being pushed aside from the franchise he helped create. He eventually decided to distance himself from Marvel after claiming that neither he nor his family were invited to the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere afterparty. Rob also alleged that photos of him taken on the red carpet were removed before they could be published. He believes those images were deliberately taken down to embarrass him and diminish his role, adding another chapter to the growing list of behind-the-scenes disputes surrounding the franchise.
And defeat him.
He is forget his pact with the Lord. He's dishonest. He steals. He lies. He breaks his covenant with everyone. When as an adult, I'm like, wow, I really idolize this guy. And he is a bit of a scoundrel.
This is exactly the kind of behavior you would expect from someone who operates the way Ryan and Blake operate, canceling people who they see as genuine and kind. Because here's the thing, and this is really important. Ryan Reynolds is the face of the franchise. So, Marvel would not have removed the creator out without his approval or direction. These are the same cancellation tactics that Ryan and Blake used against Justin. Ryan approached a senior executive at the WME agency during the Deadpool and Wolverine afterparty to express his anger for Justin.
Ryan knew this was going to happen. He was ready. Ryan is the reason for the New York Times article. Like, there's no question that Ryan created all of this.
Critics argue that Ryan Reynolds' influence in Hollywood carries significant weight. They point to Justin Baldoni's departure from WME shortly after the dispute became public, claiming Ryan's industry connections helped isolate someone they believe was targeted after working with Blake and refusing to give her everything she wanted during the production. The discussion doesn't end there. Lifestyle icon Martha Stewart has also shared her opinion of Ryan. According to Stewart, while Ryan is entertaining on screen, she doesn't see him as naturally funny in everyday life. Instead, she described him as a much more serious person behind the scenes. Critics have used those comments to argue that Ryan's public image differs from his private personality. They believe the charming, humorous persona audiences know may not fully reflect how he behaves off camera, adding another layer to the ongoing debate surrounding both Ryan and Blake.
Marry him.
He's probably on the list just because he covers himself up in his movies and you don't see his face. Ryan Reynolds, is he one of those? And you want to know something? He's not so funny in real life. Really? No, he's not so funny. He's very serious.
According to reports, Marina Bacon, who played Vanessa in the first 2 Deadpool films, revealed her role was reduced in the 3rd film because she disagreed with Ryan. The work was pulled from under her simply for having the audacity to have a different opinion than Ryan about creative decisions.
The crew members were talking amongst them, and they also learned that a lot of other people working in Europe did not like Ryan Reynolds. He's widely disliked in the industry. It was so clear how Ryan was treating people with power and money on a completely different level of how he was treating people on the floor.
The cracks in Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' carefully crafted image are getting harder to ignore. TJ Miller reignited the debate by recalling that Ryan allegedly treated him coldly on the Deadpool set, staying in character while belittling his role and making him feel insignificant. Miller later suggested Ryan's attitude changed after Deadpool became a massive success, calling him insecure and admitting he'd never work with him again. Critics say Miller isn't alone. As more industry figures speak out, questions continue growing over whether Ryan's friendly public persona matches how he's viewed behind the scenes. Megyn Kelly even claimed an insider described Ryan, not Blake, as the driving force behind the "It Ends With Us" conflict, alleging he became involved after reviewing footage and the script. According to that account, Ryan's influence shaped much of what followed. Meanwhile, Blake's business empire has reportedly taken a major hit. Her 2024 haircare launch, Blake Brown Beauty, was expected to become a huge success, but critics say backlash surrounding the film's press tour damaged consumer confidence. Reports point to weak sales, rising product returns, negative customer reviews, and Ulta Beauty declining to stock the brand, throwing its growth plans into chaos. Her lawyers allegedly blamed a smear campaign, while critics argue consumers simply lost trust. At the same time, Betty Buzz has reportedly struggled, and Betty Boos continues facing challenges, fueling claims that Blake's reputation is affecting every business tied to her name. Closing. In Hollywood, image can build an empire, but once public trust disappears, even the biggest stars can discover that reputation is the hardest thing to rebuild.